Welcome back to another exciting conversation that we're going to have here at Parent Twain Connection Talks. If we haven't met, I'm Clarissa Constantine. I'm founder of Parent Twain Connection, and I'm excited to have you tune in. We are where parents go when they don't know where to go. Why? Because we bring amazing human beings like Jenn Brown, who is a certified life coach and confidence coach. We bring them to you so that you can tune in and go, hey, I need help with this, and they have answers for you. If you are tuning in, you're either finding us on our YouTube channel or on Facebook or LinkedIn. Make sure that you follow or subscribe so that you get notified when we bring the next guest to you. And without further ado, Jenn, I am so glad to have you here. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing? I'm pumped to be here. I could talk about this forever. So this is just my happy place.
Awesome. So we are talking today about taking your negative self-talk and kicking it to the curb. And we were just talking before we went live that when I was promoting this, I was like, hey, do you have negative self-talk? Newsflash, if you're human, you've got negative self-talk.
You do. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Every single one of us. Jenn, let's start though. I always like to ask our guests to give us a little bit of a background about who you are, why you do what you do. Are you a parent? Do you work with teenagers? Because obviously we are here to support teens and to support the people who support them.
Absolutely. I always say I work with tweens and teens, and the parent are the people who raise them. So I work in the village that it is to raise our young people. And I have 3 kids of my own, 2 teenagers and 1 tween. So I am very much in the mix, right? And I came into coaching as a former educator. This was something that I have always been drawn to, is working with this younger generation because they're so funny. They're so fun. They're so just light and just bring the fun, right? And so, but then we had a 5-year trauma hit where my oldest was diagnosed with cancer. My youngest had shaken baby syndrome with the caretaker. And then my middle had a seizure disorder. So we got slammed. We got thrown to the ground. And when we picked ourselves up and everybody's doing great, everybody's doing healthy, I thought, you know what? I've got something bigger to do. And that's when I went into coaching, and my world has evolved over the last almost 3 years.
That's awesome. All right. So let's just dive in. Negative self-talk. If you're human, you've got it. But why?
But why? Our brains want to protect us, right? This goes back to the cave days where it's like you're out and you're looking for the bear. You're looking for the lion, right? And our brains want to protect us. So I don't look at it as just somebody being in your brain being mean to you. You're not trying to beat yourself up. You're trying to keep yourself really safe in this tight little bubble that you won't get laughed at, you won't get pointed at, because that happened to you when you were little. You just may not remember it, but somewhere in your brain, it was like, ooh, I don't like that. So it's creating the space to try to keep you nice and safe. However, it keeps you locked in real tight, and you don't get to grow yourself like you probably can and should do to reach that full fulfillment of happiness.
Evolution. How have our brains not evolved beyond that? We don't have to fight lions and tigers and bears, but you're right. We do have people who say and do things that are unkind along the way. And then we adopt those. And if we hurt ourselves first, then we've got a tougher skin if they try to hurt us, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's almost like you're preparing yourself, right?
Right. So then what does it sound like? I mean, I know what mine sounds like. How do we recognize it?
So I love it. So we can address it better if we don't just think of this voice in my brain. We have to put a third person value to it. We give it a viewing. Like mine is an octopus. She's pink. She's got long tentacles, and her name is Pearl. I really thought about this, and I do this activity with the teens I work with. We come up with a 3D, third person 3D, they draw it, they color it, they give it a life, and they give it a name. So when you're talking to that creature, Pearl, your negative self-talk, right? You're saying, Pearl, I don't need you right now. Right now, you're really telling me that I'm not good enough to go out and try out for this dance team. So, but I am. I've been practicing. I know my steps. I know the routine. I'm ready. So, Pearl, go back into your cave. I don't need you right now. And then I take my big sword and I chop off her tentacles, and she scurries off. She can't come back. You see what I did there?
I did.
Yeah. Yep. So in my mind, I have given myself this whole visualization of being my best self without having this like voice coming in and telling me, and I recognize it. So I can reframe it and give it a new version of me, not Pearl, who's coming in to keep me safe.
Mm-hmm. I've heard other coaches take similar approaches of like name the mean girl in your head, basically, or like name the bully. And I haven't heard them necessarily give it to personify an octopus or some other like shark or alligator or whatever it may be, but certainly naming it and recognizing. Other people call it the itty something committee, which, we'll keep it clean-ish here. But the fundamental is like, it's the negative Nancy in the brain. So that's what it sounds like. So then you talk about replacing it, but in order to replace it, we need to stop it in the first place. So you just talked about like taking that virtual or veritable sword and like chopping off her tentacles, or like chopping them off at the knees, or whatever the case may be, right? What are some other ways that as we start to recognize this negative Nancy, we can stop them in their tracks?
I think the first step is just to acknowledge that it happens, right? I've heard people say, well, I don't have a negative self-talk. And I'm just like, oh, you do. You're just not recognizing it coming in and it's almost like pecking you, right? It's to just sit back and be like, your patterns, when do you feel uneasy? Your body gives you the signals, like your chest gets tight, your shoulders get tight. And so you have to recognize when your body is reacting to it, and then figure out, what is going on right now? Why would I feel nervous? Why would I feel unsure about what I'm about to do? I still approach this. I still have to go through this every time I do a podcast or a live, or when I get on and when I go speak on stage, because my voice is saying, who did you scam to get here? Why are you even here? Who are you? I have all the credentials, right? Like I have all the life experience. I do deserve to be here. So I catch it. And then I go through my patterns and the things that I need to tell myself that can set me right back in my power self, and not my scared self. My scared Jenn is, you don't belong here. Scared teen is, nobody likes you, right? Like, oh, I'm sad. When power Jenn and power teen and power Clarissa can say, oh, absolutely not. This is where I belong, and I can't wait to kill it. So my perspective is just having to acknowledge it and then kind of wipe it away. It takes practice. I don't want to make it sound easy. It takes a lot of practice.
It does. It takes a lot of attention. I mean, I've been doing a lot of this kind of work for 25 years, and the negative Nancy still filters in periodically. So then once we've gotten rid of it, like you talk about replacing it, I almost find that harder sometimes, because I give myself, it's like, what do I replace it with? Because my brain, if I like, okay, you don't belong here. No, wait, I do belong here. Sometimes my brain can't make that shift. And I know I'm not alone, right? To go from one belief to the exact opposite belief. My brain's like, you're lying to me, and that's BS or whatever,
Right.
So like, what's your recommendation of, we've cut it off at the knees, as it were. How do we take steps toward bringing in that positive?
I always say when I work with anything is to grow by 1%. It's not you're not going to step out the next day and just be this like sass monster that's like twirling the hair and, walking out with the best of them. Right. So the way I approach it, and the way I coach teens to approach it, is to find the value around you. And it's make it just sound like some small gratitude, but to look around and to see, man, I am walking today. My legs are so strong. And I'm just going back to this girl I was coaching, this teen I was coaching about dance, and she was really struggling with, nobody likes me. And so we went back to square one to say, man, I worked out 2 hours yesterday. She actually did that. So we were really focused on how well that served her body and her mind and her spirit to go into dance the next day. And so even if it's as simple to be proud of something you've done, it's going to take that almost blank thinking at that pattern thinking of, oh, you're not good enough, to shift it. You're rewiring it to say, well, I worked so hard yesterday. I can't wait to go show it off and dance. So it's like 1% shift, and you're not going to see it just like out of the blue. It's going to be this, and now this teen I'm coaching is ready to try out for captain. I mean, she's just come so far from where she came from. So it's just those little baby steps of gathering your confidence to start weaving it in to your thinking.
So how young do you think we start dealing with this negative self-talk?
That's a really good question. I know that a lot of this forms, a lot of our memories and our emotions, we may not even remember them. Somebody, you stood up, you raised your hand to ask to go to the bathroom in 3rd grade, and somebody pointed to you and was like, look at you. And it's like our brain just went, and it's like, it just like molds into these panics, into these feelings. I think it just starts, as soon as our memories can kick in. I think our brain is always on from the second we are in the womb to being born. And so I think it's just, it's never too early to start talking to your kids about, hey, it's okay if you feel uneasy. That does not feel good. That does not feel good for somebody to point and laugh at you. But you had to go to the bathroom, and it's okay that you raised your hand, and just kind of laying it out with almost acknowledging the facts that happened. And man, that can really not feel good. But how do you feel about that? Like, let's talk about it. So start getting them in the habit of talking about how it felt and how they, overcame it or persevered through it.
Mm-hmm. So you say you work with the teens, tweens, and the parents who raise them, or the people who raise them, right?
Big people, yes.
So,
there it is.
The big people, because it's not always parents. It's a lot of times it's
true.
the family around the parents, right?
Very true.
I mean, I know, golly, I've seen plenty of families, and mine would have been this had I had kids, where sometimes the grandparents are unintentionally the negative influence, and the parents are like, I don't want my parents around my kids, because of their. And sometimes it's mental health issues. Sometimes it's just different philosophies or isms and whatnot. But so for the parents who are here and tuning in, what are some takeaways that, like, where do they start? Like, if they've never broached this conversation about the negative self-talk and whatnot, how do they, like, kind of what's a 1, 2, 3 step that they can take with their kids to start introducing this concept and helping them find that octopus or the alligator and naming that?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of times I always address it when you don't want to go straight in and be like, so what are you thinking about? Are you thinking bad things? How's it going? Are you feeling uneasy? The kids are like, ooh, what's happening? Right. So I often say, start a 3rd person conversation. Hey, I was talking to my friend the other day, and she was telling me how worried she was about stepping onto a new team that she's on at work. And she was telling me how her mind was starting to tell her, this was so hard, and she's just not sure she can do it. And I actually told her, hey, you can do this. I've seen your work. You're great. Like the pep talk that she's giving her friend. And then you can turn around and be like, has that ever happened to you? Or do you know anybody? You're leading with curiosity. You're not going in for the jugular to say, what's happening? Right. So I think that's always a really solid way to start new conversations, is just to kind of go around, and you're going to go around to a different door, right? You're not just going to go through the front door. And so just kicking that off. And then later down the road, you might say, oh man, I was going to go take my driver's test to renew it. And I got really nervous because when I took it the first time, I hit the brake pedal so fast that it made the instructor like hit his head on the visor. And I have felt so uneasy about that. Right. And so you're just giving these examples and then you're explaining, well, I had to really think about it. Oh, wait, I've been driving for 10 years since then. I can really do this. But I do feel nervous. And then the last thing I always say is to show them where their control is, right? Like, you can't control what other people are doing. So you have to, when you get around other people, if you're feeling this uneasy, your gut's telling you, you have the control as much as you can to get up and say, excuse me, I need to go to the restroom. Or it's giving them the power to recognize, how to talk about it with other people, and then what to do about it if it's uneasy and you're around those grandparents or the aunts or uncles or the mom or dad or whomever that may not be like feeding the right information into you, and to recognize it and just say, oh, I see that you're saying that, but I'm going to go in the other room because I really don't want to hear it, to be honest.
Right. Awesome. All right. So I always ask our guests this as we start the descent on our conversation, as it were. Everything that we do at Parent Tween Connection is based on what I call the foundations of connection. And I came up with these, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when I realized that a lot of my high school age clients often felt more comfortable talking to me about some challenging topics, or they wanted to talk to me before they went and talked to their parents. And I was like, what is it that I'm able to provide expressly because I'm not mom, that maybe mom or dad or somebody in the family can incorporate? And so I came up with this acronym of connection. And so each of the letters of connection stands for a concept. So I'm going to rattle them off quickly. And I'd love to know, Jen, which one kind of like jumps up and like resonates most with you relative to what we're talking about today. Okay. So we start at the top with create a safe place. Then observe is our O, our first O. We have non-judgment and nod and smile, as in zip it, right? Just be like, tell me more.
Right.
Then we go into explore. Then we have challenge your truths, take your time, innovate, own your own story, and nurture. And for anyone tuning in, if you want to download a copy of those, we have them on our website. We've got a free download if you want. But I'm curious, Jen, which one of those seems like really pertinent today?
I think it was it pause? No.
Nod and smile.
Nod and smile. That's the one. Yes. Always is a safe bet, because our natural instinct is to go off what we know and what we did as parents or as caregivers. And it's not our story. It's their story. So to pause and just to say to yourself, what can I do next that's going to continue this conversation, instead of, oh, I get to teach them a lesson. Oh, yes, I've been waiting all day for this, right? No, you're going to wait, pause. I think there's always that advantage and that perk that comes with just that little bit of think time. And it allows them to kind of finish their thought. They're also like processing. So that's my favorite. I love that one. That's great.
I really like how you put that, of like, what can I do to continue to keep the conversation going, to keep them talking, as opposed to I'm going to jump in and teach them something.
Yeah. Like,
I love that.
Oh, good. Yeah, me too. I think it's super helpful.
Awesome. All right. So we are going to wrap up this portion of our conversation. Like I said to the folks tuning in, wherever you're finding us, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, make sure to click follow or subscribe so that you get notified next time we bring a fantastic professional in to have tidbits of insight. Jen, if folks are interested in learning more about you or about the coaching that you offer, where can they find you?
That's right. So you can find me. I mean, look, we're all in the age of social media, right? Jenn Brown Coaching on Instagram, Jenn Brown on Facebook, and then JennBrownCoaching.com is my website. And I just actually became certified as a Clifton Strengths coach, which I am loving. So that's something awesome that I offer to groups and workshops and leadership groups. That's really kicking off. So if you have any interest, reach out. I'd love to chat.
Fantastic. All right. And if you are not yet a member of Parent Tween Village, I encourage you to visit our website at parentTweenConnection.com/Parent Tween Village to learn a little bit more about it. It is our family community. We are all about community and education. And that education comes from professionals just like Jen, because she and I are going to head over to Parent Tween Village now, and we are going to have a conversation on how to keep calm and keep your balance. And there is not a parent in the world that wouldn't like some insight on that. Right. So again, if you are not yet a Parent Tween Village member, go ahead over to our website and take a look, see if it's a good fit. And we will catch you in the village. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Bye, guys.